rise, join the board in the pledge, hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, and our active military. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We have a number of hearings this evening, but before we get started with our hearings, I just want to make an announcement that we have a very busy weekend this weekend here in the village of Mineola, and I just want to remind everyone that on Friday night, as of right now, we will be checking the weather, but we do have our first concert in the park is scheduled. Tramps Like Us, a Bruce Springsteen tribute band, will be on Friday night at Memorial Park. On Saturday morning, 10 a.m., John Estevanzo Community Pool will open. 11 a.m. 10 a.m. I have to be there. 11 a.m. it opens to the public. And then at noon at 2nd Street by Morgan Park in the St. James, we'll have our first Arts and Automobiles Festival, so please come down there. The weather's supposed to be great. And then that evening, Saturday evening, June 15th, we will have Shakespeare in the Park, Hamlet. And then on Sunday, June 16th, from 7 a.m. to noon at the high school, we'll have the annual Troop 45 Father's Day Pancake Breakfast. So a lot going on in the village. I just wanted to get that out there before we get into our hearings. So with that, Mr. Rivera.
Application of Cedric Johnson for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, entitled Zoning, Section 550-12, entitled B1 Districts, subsection B, entitled Special Uses, to establish a personal training studio upon the property known as 178 Herricks Road, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 38, Lot 7.
Okay, thank you. Mr. O'Keefe, affidavit of mailings? Thank you. Mr. Gibbons?
Yes, Nassau County Planning Commission has reviewed this application and issued an LD, and I'd ask for a resolution to CEQA declaring this a Type 2 action.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
trustee Solosky, seconded by trustee Casado. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so this hearing, I will ask the applicant to please approach the podium, identify yourselves, your relationship to the applicant, your address, and at which point the board will interact with you, ask you any questions that we have, and if there's any comments from the public, we will do that as well. So the floor is yours. Just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business, the location, your business model, etc. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. My name is Melissa Carley,
My name is Tadriq Johnson.
and we are the owners of Revamp Strength LLC. We are proposing to utilize the property of 178 Herricks Road, Section 9, Block 38, Lot 7, as a private training studio under the name Revamp Strength. 178 Herricks Road is about 2,600 square feet, more specifically 2,635 square feet. It is located in between Lincoln Place and Garfield Avenue. Adjacent to our building, there's a small parking lot that can accommodate 8 to 10 cars. Additionally, there is parking along Herricks Road, 90-minute parking between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Garfield Avenue, and parking before 10 a.m. and after 3 p.m. on Lincoln Place. Our mission is to empower individuals to revamp their lives through health and fitness while cultivating community rooted in support and motivation. We will specialize in different areas of fitness, including but not limited to weight loss, strength training, athletic performance, and rehabilitation. Our services will include private training, semi-private training, and small group training. In regards to other logistics, our hours will be 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday. No construction is needed on this property. All work that will be done will be strictly cosmetic. As far as noise, we will be installing rubber horse stall mats, which help to absorb the vibration and reduce any potential noise. Along with that, our walls are laid with brick, making it a great sound insulator. Our entryway and emergency exit are both ADA compliant. Before we officially open, we're of course going to plan to ensure our restroom is up to full ADA standard. As per our lease agreement, our landlord is responsible for compliance with any fire codes and regulations. Lastly, we plan to work with the community to not only bring residents together, but to work with other surrounding businesses. Whether it be partnering up with local food vendors or hosting fundraisers and wellness events, we are excited to put the overall community at the forefront of Revamped Strength. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much and welcome. You've done this before? I listed a bunch of questions and you pretty much answered them all. I wish that all of our applicants would be as prepared as you are. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I know the area very well. I actually teach at Mineola High School, which is right across the street.
Okay.
So that certainly could be a source, not only of clientele, but also a way to give back to the community.
Exactly.
Is perhaps reach out to them and do some kind of outreach with that. I do notice that you do have a garage door. Will that be at the property just to the north of the?
Yeah, so the garage on the left side is the owner's building, so he has his office space is in that side of the building.
Okay, you'll be on the.
We'll be on the right side,
On the right side of the building. Okay. I don't have many issues with this. Obviously, anything, that area has long been, semi-light industrial.
Right.
And I will say this, that it's a good thing for you that you're on this side of Herrick's Road.
Right.
Because if you were on the other side of Herrick's Road, you'd be in the town of North Hempstead. And I can assure you that the process would be much more complicated,
I can only imagine.
much longer, much more costly, and probably much more stressful. So one of the benefits of dealing with a village. So yes, your neighbors across the street are not, Mineola High School is not in Mineola, right?
okay.
It's in Garden City Park. You mentioned the hours of operation, so you'll only be open in the evenings?
No, 5 a.m. to 9
5
p.m.
a.m. to 9
Yes.
p.m. How many days a week?
So we're gonna do, as of right now, we have Monday to Saturday. Sunday, we're still on the edge on whether or not we wanna do Sunday or not. But for the most part, Monday to Saturday from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I would ask that if you could, probably stay away from Sunday, or if you did, do an abbreviated schedule. That's when
Okay.
people are outside,
Right.
and that's when people are with family and having parties and gatherings, and perhaps parking then becomes a premium,
Right.
and as well as noise. You're not gonna sell any food or anything, maybe
No,
some
no
beverages, nothing, people are gonna bring their own water. What type of training is this? Is this gonna involve, a lot of weights, or is this resistance, or is it body weight, or
Yeah, so we're gonna have a mixture between both, right? So we're gonna have everyday functional training, right? So whether it's dumbbells, whether you wanna squat on the squat rack, we're gonna make sure we incorporate functional training, a little bit of CrossFit training, and just your everyday rehabilitation training as well. So if you wanna come in, stretch with the trainer, you can do that as well.
Okay. You mentioned some classes. What types of classes or groups? Will you be hosting classes? Would you host, some larger group classes?
No, so we want to try to make it exclusive as possible, right? So we want to try to limit the amount of people, just so we're able to focus on little detail when it comes to correcting. Let's say you were squatting, and next thing you know, you had bad form, right? So we harp on having small group classes, right? So maybe we're thinking between like 5 and 10 people. It's more manageable. You're able to focus on what people are actually doing and make sure they're doing it properly.
And how many employees will be the two of you?
Yeah.
Just the two of you? Okay. I have no objections anytime a new business comes in, and, I can see that you guys are eager to do this, so I have no objections. Trustee Casado?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, guys.
Good
evening.
I have no objection either. I have two questions.
Yes.
Are you gonna be playing music while you guys work out? And how loud is that gonna be?
Yeah, so I'm not really into music. I just, throughout the years, I just don't train with music. I know a lot of people do prefer to have a little bit of background noise in a facility. We did test out a speaker in the facility and you can't hear anything, but, for the most part, we plan on having it low.
Because that there are people on the east
Yes,
side of the
yes,
residence.
yes.
And obviously you're gonna lift weights and maybe drop weights.
Right.
So is that gonna be
No.
a problem with the sound of dropping weights?
No, so we have, they're 100-pound horse stall mats, so they're meant to absorb the contact to reduce the noise, actually.
And that'll absorb that sound?
Yes, it will pretty much reduce the sound, yes.
All right, thank you. I'm done here, thank you.
And I would ask, because we have had this experience with other places, although the focus is completely different
Right.
than your focus is, that you have those types of activities happen toward the front of the building rather than the rear of the building. Because then I think that not only the mats, but also the distance.
Right.
Because you do have 179 Wardwell is right behind you, and 181's kind of slightly behind you, so just be cognizant of that, so your space is gonna go all the way to the back, the full length of?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's pretty close to that one backyard, so, just be
Thanks,
aware
Joe.
of that.
We will.
Okay? Trustee Clark?
Good evening. Is this your first location?
Yes, so where I was before, I was pretty much paying for rent space. So the owner had his own gym. He had trainers come in. If you had your own business, you would train your clients and pay for rent.
Okay. All right, thanks.
No problem.
Trustee Salaski?
Just one question. You're going to have full use of that parking lot?
Yes, we will have full use, yes.
And you said it was 8 to 10 cars?
Yes.
So in actuality, not that you can force it, everyone could be in that parking lot?
Everyone
parking
could be in that
on
parking
the
lot.
street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
But I will say this, that there are, especially off hours, there's plenty of parking on Herrick's Road on both
Right.
sides, down the side streets, Lincoln Place, you do, and if you had to, you could work out some sort of agreement with some of your neighbors, because, the Midas and then the place on the corner, they also have, especially the place on the corner of Garfield and Herrick's has
Right.
really underutilized, parking lot. So,
Right.
As long, and I don't think that people would park on Wardwell and walk
I know.
all the way around to
Definitely
go
not.
to you.
Yeah.
If anything, maybe a few feet into Garfield and maybe
Okay.
a few feet into Lincoln. So I think that most people will park
Alright.
on Herrick's, or in your lot,
Or in the lot, right.
so I don't see the parking. I would also, because you mentioned something about like CrossFit or cross-training, that, sometimes they run the neighborhood and stuff like that. If you're going to do that, try to limit that to the industrial area and
Okay.
not that people aren't allowed to run on residential streets, they are, but sometimes people just, when they see large numbers of people, it may be better off just running up and down Harris Road, or go right across the street on weekends. The school that area is completely empty.
Okay.
So it's industrial. Everything across the street from you is pretty much
Pretty good.
automotive,
Okay.
industrial, closed on Sundays, closed on Saturdays. Most of them, you have a lot of body shops and things like that. So
All right.
it's a good area for this use for you, I think. Okay. Anyone else from the board? Okay. Anyone else from the public? Third row. Yes, sir. Come on. I'm sorry, if you don't mind taking a seat, and then we'll hear from the public, and then you can take some notes.
Is this on general matters?
No, this has to be on this application.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay,
That
just,
is fine.
sir, I don't want to waste your time tonight. This is a hearing, so the only thing you'll be able to speak about tonight is the hearings tonight.
Oh, so it's not general meeting?
No, public meeting was last week, and public meeting will be next week.
Okay, my neighbor told me otherwise.
Okay, but you could always shoot us an email, you could call Mr. Rivera.
Well, it was probably about the roads around Garfield and Wellington and stuff.
Okay, so
Was that
you-
last
you-
week?
Okay, you could, that's next week. Or you could shoot me an email, we could certainly, you don't have to wait till next week.
I'll come next week.
Okay, looking forward to it. In the fourth row? Nope. Okay, come on up. Come back up. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right, no problem. That's good. So, again, this is a pretty easy one. You did a great job preparing this. The only thing that I do ask is, you mentioned some work, and this is with your landlord. Mr. O'Keefe is right there. Raise your hand, Mr. O'Keefe. The building department superintendent. Signs, lighting, and any interior modifications, plumbing, things like that.
Okay.
Just make sure that everything is taken care of. Really, it would be through your landlord, but again, just, we wouldn't want to come down, you put a sign up, and then we have to take it down,
Right.
because you do have to get a sign permit.
Okay.
And as far as lighting in the back, I don't know if there's any lighting there currently, but if you were to add any lighting, that it shine down, and
Right.
that it's not, in people's rear windows.
Okay.
But any questions, any doubts along the process, reach out to the building department, and they will make sure that it runs smoothly. And last but not least, when you're ready to open, work out with our clerk or with the Chamber of Commerce to do a ribbon cutting, get some free press, we'll come down, we'll take some pictures, you'll get some proclamations to hang on your wall, and it's a way to kind of get the word out, and, you know, and if you see fit, join the Chamber of Commerce. It's a great way to network, and kind of get yourself into the village.
Sounds
Okay?
good, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to approve the application.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Casado. Mr. Rivera, please pull the board.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Casado,
Yes.
trustee Salaski,
Yes.
Mayor Pereira.
Yes. Congratulations,
Thank
good
you.
luck,
Thank you.
and
Thank you,
welcome
guys.
to Mineola.
Thank
you.
Glad you chose Mineola.
Thank you
Have
so
a great
much.
day. You don't have to stay for the rest of the night.
All right,
You
thank
can
you,
We
go
hope to
guys.
see you guys.
Well, you send us the invitation, we'll be there.
Perfect, thank you
Thank
guys.
you, guys.
Yeah,
Have a
Take
good
care,
night.
thank you, congratulations. Okay, Mr. Rivera.
Application of John Wren for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, entitled Zoning, Section 550-12, entitled B1 Districts, subsection B, entitled Special Uses, to establish a restaurant upon the property known as 284 Jericho Turnpike, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 296, Lot 302.
Thank you. Mr. O'Keefe, affidavit of mailings? Thank you very much. Mr. Gibbons?
Yes, Nassau County Planning Commission has recommended local determination, and I'd ask for a resolution under SEQA declaring this a type 2 action.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Salaski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So, I'm not gonna go through all the rules again, but do we have the applicant here, Mr. Wren? Yep. If you please approach the podium, just state your name, your address, and your relationship to the application.
Yes, good evening. First of all, forgive my dress. Next
No,
next time,
you're fine. You know,
A bit
no
more
issues.
formal.
We don't have a dress code.
okay. I'm the architect for this property for interior renovation and also for horizontal extension to this existing lot. My name is John Wren. My office in Green Neck, and this is my customer, Mr. Peterson. He's the son of the official owner of this restaurant. They run a couple of restaurant, Chinese takeout and dim sum, and also dine-in restaurant. They already have 3 in Manhattan. The name is Kung Fu Kitchen. And they already have 3 restaurants in Manhattan. 1 is in Roosevelt Mall in Garden City. And also they have 1 in Boston, 1 in Orlando. So,
And one in New Haven.
the new one is New Haven.
New Haven.
It is coming. This lot is 15 feet by 110 feet. Is along the Jericho Turnpike. Is among the street mall. It's all local restaurant, law office, and acupuncture, all small business.
Mr. Wren, if you could just pull the mic a little, because this is being televised.
sorry.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the lot was vacant after COVID. It was Mineola Vision glass door, but it's vacant for many years. So my client, they recently, 1 year ago, they purchased the property and want to convert it into a restaurant. So the size is rather small. Existing is 55 feet by 15 feet. So they want to do a 500 square feet, 1-story extension at the back. And also the zoning for this lot require conditional permit for restaurant. And also we cannot fulfill the parking requirement for this extension, 500 square foot extension. In fact, in this block, both the corner lots already built up. One is the cornerstone bar. The other side is acupuncture. They already extended to the back, and also they built up on the second floor. I mean, they raised the building to did a vertical extension too, and also among this strip mall, almost half of the stores was built extended to the back. There is a 10 feet easement for service road for delivery at the back. So we are here to ask for variance for these two zoning objections.
Okay, thank you. So I am checking out your website. Looks very nice. I see you on there. You're the head chef, right?
Yeah,
You're,
I'm the chef. I'm the chef.
you're the chef, and you're an actor?
Before.
Before, okay.
I come to America. My English no good. I can't follow my dream.
How's your food?
Pretty good. My mom teach me. So you want to see the menu?
Very
Can I
good.
you guys
Sure,
see the
we'll take a look at the menus. It would have been better if you brought samples, but that's okay.
for next time.
The next time, absolutely. So obviously, you have some experience with this, and you've been very successful. The question that I have for you is, so to your west, there is an existing restaurant, the Cornerstone, as you mentioned, and previously, on the other end, there had been other bar restaurants, and some people may remember, I think it was the Outside Inn or something like that. But the main concern is garbage. So we will require you to have a private carter to get the garbage from the rear, right, from the easement. Now, whether you have to push it out to Marcellus or to Wellington, that would be up to you, but we would require that you handle the garbage through private carting, okay? And does it have a basement?
Yes.
The store has a basement. Would you have a walk-in box and things like that in the basement?
Yes, we have coolers downstairs.
You'll have the coolers in the basement. How many seats will there be?
Currently, we have 24 seats.
24 seats, okay. And what would the extension, the one floor extension in the back, what would be located there? Seating?
No, kitchen
Kitchen, so the kitchen would be
at the
up
back.
in the back?
No second floor.
Oh, extended it to the back,
Yeah,
I
only-
got you,
only,
got you.
horizontal, yeah.
Okay. And what about hours of operation? Is this like a late night place?
It's generally 12 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
No, if business is good,
Right, stay open a little later. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a bar next door, so the bar is obviously open late. It's more of a concern for, smells, if you're cooking and people are trying to go to sleep, it may be, but you would say 10 or 11 o'clock, you're not gonna be open till 2 in the morning, right? This is not New York City, right? So, and parking, we understand that there is no parking, but there's no parking there now. And there was no parking there 50 years ago, and there will be no parking there 50 years from now. So there was a store there were many stores, there's a bar, there's a restaurant. It is quite inconvenient, I would imagine at times, but
Street
I would.
parking.
I'm
There's
sorry?
Street parking, meter
No,
parking.
there's street parking right in front of you, across the street, and further down on Jericho Turnpike. And the good thing is that most of the businesses to your east close at 5 o'clock or, 6 o'clock the latest, because you have a music store, you have a, different, you have the acupuncture place, so it's not like they're
Yeah.
competing with you at your high time. Obviously, it looks like you're very successful, so I do wish you good luck if you are approved tonight. And we'd love to see a new business filling up an empty space, and we hope that you're successful. Trustee Casado.
Thank you, Mayor. I had one concern concerning the basement. Mayor, you've already raised that question, so I have no problem. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Trustee Clark.
No questions.
Thank you.
Okay, trustee Salaski.
Same here, no questions.
Okay. Music, karaoke, any kind of entertainment that may create some noise to the rear of the building?
No, you know, Chinese music, oh, like,
Right, okay, so some background. So, and what and we ask this all the time, and it's a little tough to enforce, but we do ask, and it will be a condition of your application, is that as much as possible, you try to keep the rear door closed, right? So that there's not noise, and, you know, I know that people in kitchens yell and scream at each other and instructions, and we require this of any business that abuts a neighboring business, just like we did before, a neighboring, you know, residential neighborhood. So we would ask, I know that sometimes it gets hot in the kitchen, I've been told, but we would ask you to please be cognizant of that. But the big thing is garbage, that you work out with a private carter once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and that pickup not be at 3 in the morning when it's beep, 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 and people are trying to sleep. So work it out maybe before, you know, mid-morning, something like that, where it would not be such an inconvenience for the residents, okay? And again, any questions that you have about signs, lighting, interior, you know, alterations, obviously you're doing an addition, so you're going to have to get very comfortable with Mr. O'Keefe and the building department. Just make sure that you do that. We also do have a facade program, and I do believe that you are in the facade improvement program zone, which means that you could get a substantial amount of money for your sign, for your lighting, for your facade, covered by grants through the village. We're gonna put you in touch with Mr. Savino, who's our community coordinator, because you've seen the Cornerstone next door, you've seen the building, all of that. 75% of that was paid through these grants. So all that stone, all those signs, all that lighting, all the stuff on the outside was paid for by grants. So if it's available, you know, it would be a great way for you to save some money, and also to conform to our, you know, our signs, what we're trying to do on Jericho Turnpike. Okay?
OK，
Any questions?
这个可以加价吗？如果以后生意好，这个价格可以改高吗？
Mr. Peter want to know
Just speak it into the microphone.
if the business is very good, can they extend next time upper floor to the second floor?
Well, I can't say yes or no. They can apply to extend, because it is in our Jericho Turnpike overlay district, so
Yeah.
they can, so it's not a no, but it's also not a yes. We would have to revisit it. What I would suggest, and I hope this is what's gonna happen, is he's gonna become so successful that we're gonna move him from that location, and we're gonna move him to a location that will be bigger and more parking and better for everyone. That's my hope, so.
Thank you.
Okay? If you'll have, anyone in the public wishing to ask a question? No? Okay, stay right there. I'll entertain a motion to approve the application.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. Mr. Rivera, please poll the board.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Casado,
Yes.
trustee Salaski,
Yes,
Mayor Pereira.
Yes. Congratulations, welcome to Mineola.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to seeing some of these great dumplings, and, you know, looks really delicious, so. And again, when you are ready to open, reach out to the Chamber of Commerce, reach out to the village. We'd love to do a ribbon cutting for you. We'd love to welcome you to the village, and thank you for choosing Mineola. Good luck. Thank you. Have a great night. You can leave, yes. Unless you want to hear the application from your competition, so.
Application of John Shemenzi for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola entitled Zoning, Section 550-12, entitled B1 Districts, subsection B, entitled Special Uses to establish a restaurant upon the property known as 520 Jericho Turnpike, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 19, Lot 133.
Okay. Mr. O'Keefe, affidavit of mailings. Okay. Mr. Gibbons.
Nassau County Planning Commission has recommended local determination, and I'd ask for a resolution under CEQA declaring this a type 2 action.
Okay. Entertain a motion? Motion. Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Solosky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And I failed to mention that Deputy Mayor Sartori is not here. I do love trustee Clark, but he is not Deputy Mayor Sartori. Tonight is prom night in Mineola. She has twin boys, and so she is off, you know, doing what moms do on prom night, probably some tears and lots of pictures. So she could not be here, but she did express her support for these applications. Okay.
Very
you're up.
nice. Good evening, Mayor,
evening.
members of the board. My name is Andrea Tsoukalis-Curto. I'm with the firm of Forcelli Deegan Tirana, with offices at 333 Earl Livingston Boulevard, Uniondale, New York. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Herrick's Mineola LLC. With me today is Mr. John Otto. He's a principal of Herrick's Mineola, and Mimi Chi. She would be the owner-operator of the restaurant. As mentioned, this is an application for a special use permit for a new fast casual Japanese restaurant. It's going to be known as Aikido. My client has 2 other locations, one in Port Washington and one in Carle Place. The one in Port Washington has been operating for 4 years, and the one in Carle Place just opened last year. Little background regarding the premises. It's located on the northeast corner of Jericho Turnpike and Herrick's Road. It's situated in the village's B1 zoning district and has a lot area of 4.5 acres. It's currently improved with a shopping center, a bank, and accessory parking. The building is 22,812 square feet, and it was built in 1958. The existing tenancies include 5 other food uses. We have Panera Bread, Rex's Burger House, Luigi's Pizza, Chipotle, and now Mogu, which was recently approved by this board last year. Harmon's Pharmacy was the prior tenant. That space was divided into 2 tenancies, which is Mogu and Aikido now. The proposed new restaurant will occupy 2,750 square feet. Access to the site is off one curb cut on Herrick's Road, 2 additional curb cuts on Jericho, and 2 on Clarissa Road. No change is proposed to the site or to the building footprint. I did want to submit an exhibit packet. This is applicant's Exhibit A. So I did provide pictures. I provided an aerial. I provided pictures of the existing site as well as other commercial uses in the area. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Wells Fargo Bank, Auto Barn, auto parts uses, bed quarters, Ronnie Spa, and the Dunkin' Donuts within the vicinity. A little bit with respect to the prior approvals and prior history for the record. In 2004, the Board of Trustees approved a special use permit for the bank with the drive-through. Also approved a special use permit for Panera Bread. In 2015, the Board of Trustees approved a special use permit for Rex's Burger. And as I mentioned last year, the board approved a special use permit for Mogu. So getting to the use that's before you today, the proposed restaurant is proposed with 60 seats. The plan that you had before you did have additional seating, but it's going to be revised to show only 60 seats. They will be offering mostly hot Japanese food, such as ramen, rice balls, stir fry, steam buns, soups. They also offer bubble tea. I did provide a sample menu in there for you. Their business model is very much like Mogu. It's a retail food use, 30% dine-in, 30% delivery, and 40% takeout. So most of the floor space, as you can see, is dedicated to the kitchen, food prep and storage areas, and then you have the sushi bar. The hours of operation are proposed from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and they're proposing 8 to 14 employees, depending on peak hours, how many chefs they need, and then how many people they need. Fast casual is typically you order at the counter, and then they have a runner bringing the food to your seat, so it's not a sit-down waiter-waitress service. All food waste and other garbage will be via private carter. They're going to be storing food indoors in a refrigerated cooler as required by the code. With respect to food deliveries, Monday through Fridays, most deliveries are made from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and typically only one delivery per day. On Monday, she said she gets 2 deliveries. But that's good in terms of peak hours because it doesn't coincide with the peak hours on Jericho Turnpike. And they're box trucks, they're smaller trucks. And all deliveries are in the rear of the property, so will not interfere with what's going on in the front. So with respect to the special use permit standards, the proposed use will be a harmonious use in this district. As you know, Jericho Turnpike is a commercial corridor. It's an established location with existing food uses. There's no other variances required, and there is sufficient parking on site for the proposed use. I did want to mention that the plan does not identify the parking for the restaurant correctly. It identifies it as a restaurant use, which requires more parking. Mogu was actually approved with 11 spaces because it's a retail food use, which is 1 per 250 square feet. And then Aikido should be treated the same way, which would also require 11 spaces at 2,750 square feet. So there's an excess of 16 stalls now at the site instead of the 4 stalls because of that. But we will fix that on the plan. The applicant proposes a desirable service and convenience for residents in the business area. Again, we're not going to have a significant impact on traffic. As we mentioned, the deliveries are not going to impact that, and we are going to draw from local businesses and residents in the area. And there's, as we mentioned, there's a lot of takeout and there's a lot of deliveries, so it's not going to impact parking. I think that's it.
Thank you. I mean, I think this one, the other two were very easy. This one's even easier.
Okay.
First of all, Mr. Otto, thank you for running such a classy, clean, well-maintained property. We do appreciate that. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen.
Right.
But I certainly know that everyone knows this shopping center, and they know that this shopping center, A, has great choices there. This will just be another choice. And I think that this was, I mean, I do miss Harmon, I have to say, and my daughters do too.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna have any use there now, this just completes the entire shopping center where we will have, I guess, about 5 or 6 food establishments, and it
Right.
makes sense that this kind of completes that. And we don't need another Portuguese restaurant, so a nice Japanese food on the East End next to some Chinese, some lobster, some Chipotle, some
Got a
Italian.
little
So
bit
we
of
have-
everything.
Yeah, well, it's just missing Greek, but that's
Yeah,
okay. We'll get around to that. And I think the parking there, although it can be challenging because it is so popular, but it's not because of a lack of spaces, it's really because of, there are so many people coming and going, and it's bustling, but that's a good thing.
Yes.
We want that. There's one house on the corner of Clarissa and Beebe, really, but that's kind of far away, so
Right.
there's no direct impact, and, I couldn't think of a better place, better location, better use for that spot than this. So I certainly don't see any problems, and I know that Mr. Otto knows how to, involve himself with the building department, so again, I don't have to go through that, you know that.
Yes.
Mr. Otto knows that, I'm sure that you've dealt with that, although in Port Washington, you probably dealt with the town, so again, much harder than us, this is much easier,
Definitely much
much friendlier, so, everybody, come to Mineola, okay? Well, not everybody, but, if you're looking to move, we'll certainly entertain your business here. Trustee Casado.
Thank you, Mayor. I definitely agree. This applicant will definitely complete that food court. And, you know, I live like 6 blocks away. Luigi's is my favorite spot, but maybe I'll come to your place. So I definitely agree, and I am in favor of your proposal.
Great, thank you.
Trustee Clark?
I have no questions, thank you.
Trustee Salaski?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Well, again, stay in contact with Mr. O'Keefe when it comes to signage and applications and all that and plans. So we look forward to seeing you open quick. And so I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Trustee Salaski. Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
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 Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
Welcome to Mineola.
Thank
for
you
choosing
very
Mineola.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. Okay, and now we move on. Oh, so it's okay. Okay. All right, now we'll get to stuff that's not as interesting as food. Making me hungry. Yeah. Is Tom's gonna read it? Okay. All right, so we have a couple of proposed local laws that we are going to just kind of go through quickly. Mr. Rini.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board, Mr. Gibbons. Thomas Rini, Superintendent of Public Works, Village of Mineola. Okay, the first proposed local law amending Section 510-17 of the Municipal Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola entitled Municipal Parking Lots. So, under this section of the code, what we're seeking to do is clean up all of our listings of municipal parking lots, which the board has there. We did lose a couple of parking lots, gain a parking lot as a result of the third track project. Prior to that, we gained a couple of other parking lots, and this now incorporates all of the parking lots that we have in the village and updates that portion of the code. Also, it also lists our commuter parking fields, all 3 of the ones that we have, but also includes now the Station Road area that we had done a few years ago that was not incorporated into the code. All minor changes in that. The biggest change that we are looking for is to add subsection H, which is use of parking lots for storage. So what this does under Section 1, the use of the village parking lots to store vehicles or equipment is strictly prohibited. Second is vehicles or equipment parked in any of the parking lots in excess of 3 consecutive days shall constitute storage. Am I too loud for you, Brian? Is it hurting your ears? So, item 3 is any vehicles parked in any parking lot in excess of 3 consecutive days without obtaining a parking permit from the village parking supervisor shall be subject to parking violations and possible towing and storage charges. And finally, the 4th is vehicles with a parking permit are required to comply with all rules, regulations, ordinances, and directives of the village and the village parking supervisor. From time to time, permit holders may be required to remove vehicles from vehicle parking lots at the direction of the village parking supervisor. So, in an example, we've had recent activities down at Wilson Park, a number of events. That lot does lend itself to a lot of storage by people in the area, businesses in the area. So we have to then go out and notice the vehicles, try and find the homeowners. So. Parking field 3, a lot of times was used for storage of vehicles. Also, our parking field on Pershing Parkway, we had a number of not quite commercial vehicles. They had no indicia, but they were used for winter plowing. That would sit there from, April through November and only go out when there was snow. So this would help tighten up all of that so that we know who's in that area. It doesn't restrict our residents necessarily, but it doesn't allow for people to just drop their car and leave it there for long periods of time.
Yeah, I think this just tightens things up, and it, from time to time, we do have to look at certain things in our code because people do, try to find loopholes or try to find exceptions, and as Mr. Rini said, we're doing a lot of events, whether it be at Wilson Park or Memorial Park or in downtown, and obviously we need access to those spaces. So I think this is great to get this codified, and this way, everyone knows, everyone's aware of it, and it's spelled out pretty clearly. And if anyone has any questions or any doubts, as Mr. Reedy said, speak to our parking supervisor, and he'll explain the options that you may have in terms of buying permits or passes, or locations where you can park said vehicles. It is a balancing act. We know that people sometimes have business to conduct, and we certainly understand that some of our residents have to bring home work vehicles and things like that, but we also have to balance that out with people who expect a certain quality of life and not have, trucks and other vehicles, campers and things like that just stored in our parking lots for extended period of times. Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Reedy?
No.
Comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept or to amend this local law.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. I guess Mr. Rivera, please pull the board.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Casado.
Yes.
Trustee Salaski.
Yes.
Mayor Carrera.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next is a proposed local law amending Section 523-29 of the Municipal Code of the Incorporated Village entitled Water Billing. What this will seek to do is add, remove some of the items in this and add a section under Section D, which says failure to pay water bills for all water supplied by meter when due will result in an assessment of a 10% penalty to be added to the water bill. In addition, for each month commencing 30 days after that due date, the water user fails to pay the outstanding water bill, a 2% penalty shall be assessed and will be added to the outstanding water bill. This item appeared twice in the code. This now combines it and puts it into one portion of the code. The next is the addition of Section F entitled Water Meters. Under 1, each property owner of a new development project in either the 1 and 2 family or all other categories shall be responsible for obtaining the necessary water meter and all related installation hardware to be utilized at the property owner's sole cost and expense through the village water department. This has been going on this way for many, many years. It's never been codified, just avoids any questions going forward. And again, it's new development, that section. The next section under 2, in the case of a damaged, stopped, inoperative, or failed water meter, all other category property owners shall be responsible for obtaining the necessary replacement water meter and all related installation hardware from the village water department to be utilized at the property owner's sole cost and expense. The purpose of this section added to the code, if you look at our all other categories, these are the larger apartments, these are the larger businesses. All other categories are everything except 1 and 2 family homes. Most times they have the larger water meters. The larger water meters are a lot more expensive and are generally a function of the business. Their business requires more water, therefore requiring that water meter. The whole point of this is the residents of the village shouldn't have to pay for that particular water meter for that business, because that's what's happening now at this point. So we're looking to segregate that out, because as a function of your business, you need more water, you need a larger water meter. Everybody in the village shouldn't have to pay for it. It's a business expense that you should have to deal with.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve this local law amendment.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. Mr. Rivera.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Casado.
Yes.
Trustee Salaski.
Yes.
Mayor Carrera.
Yes. Thank you.
And finally, the last is the proposed local law amending Section 550-34 of the Municipal Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola entitled Unlicensed or Inoperative Motor Vehicles. So under this section, we just added a little bit under Section A, unlicensed or inoperative motor vehicles, that no lot, parcel, street, or highway within the incorporated village of Mineola shall be used for outdoor storage. In other words, a vehicle parked for excessive periods of times. And again, that's subjective. It's something that would be looked at. And what the real purpose is, a lot of times, it's used for repairs. And with new stormwater laws that we've had over the years, things like that, and oils dripping and things going into the street, this tightens that up. So basically, that repairs, even minor in nature, can no longer be done in the street. The code previously permitted things like oil changes and things like that in the street. So the whole purpose of this was to remove those type preventive maintenance items that, should not be done in the street, should be done on your property. And, all items should be disposed of properly, not in the street or not in the rain when suddenly it's going down stormwater, catch basins, and the like. So this just looks to tighten that whole area up and basically remove the ability that the code previously allowed to perform those preventative type maintenance items.
And again, times change, and so we have to change with them. And I think that that's a good idea. And we do get complaints rather frequently, where we have people see cars with multiple summonses on them, and it's really a process to be able to find out who owns them, where they are, when we can move them. We have to involve the police department, and it's sometimes a very arduous task to just get these things to move. So if we have this, again, tightened up in the code, I think it just gives us, another tool or the ability to be able to address this much more efficiently. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve this one as well.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Salaski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any,
sorry.
no, sorry. Poll the board, Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
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 No, I'm kidding. Yes. I was just trying to throw you, yes. So yes.
And thank you, that's all I have for local laws this evening.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rini. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearings.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to take a 5-minute break to stretch our legs, and we'll be out for our work session to follow.